Hello, this is an embassy chess game I will analyze between two Brain King Kong players, Panzerschiff and Tenuki, two very good players, very good players, and Tenuki is one of the best actually. And Tenuki was black and Panzerschiff was white. So Panzerschiff starts with c4, a pretty strange opening. I'm not familiar with embassy chess openings, and I guess there is no theory, and that just people improvise, so perhaps it's a good move, but I don't see any big point in playing this move. I mean, okay, it gives the knight the c3 square to develop, and behind the pawn, and always this is a good development to have the knights before pawns, and not knight c3 and the pawn be behind that. But and of course the c4 pawn move controls the d5 square for black, so he can't really play d5 now, the black, because then white will capture him and then the knight will attack the queen. So strategically it's a rather good move to attack this d5 square and prevent black playing here, but I prefer not to delay any bishop view of the board development actually, because d4 gives bishop a good view of the board. It's kind of development for the bishops, so I prefer d4 or g3 to develop bishops than this, although it controls the center, and so perhaps it's a good move, I don't really know, but it's not of my preference. Anyway, Tenuki replied with f4, f5, and then Panzerschiff went for d3, g6, normal sensible moves, and now c3. And now blacks will give a battle for d5 because white has two pieces, knight and pawn, attacking d5. And now Tenuki plays knight to h6, and we have then knight h3, and now Tenuki plays c6. Black is fine now because he gives the battle for d5, starts to give a battle for d5. He can allow white to have d5 square, of course. So for example, c5 is bad, very bad, so he plays c6, a nice move. Or for example, knight c6, it's also bad. White do not have that important square, so c6 is fine. After c6 we have g3, opening another diagonal for the bishop, and now Tenuki plays d6. d6, nice move, preparing knight d7, knight d7, we can play that right now, and building a nice pawn structure. Against c4, this c6 d6 structure I think is the best. So I think when the opponent plays c4, you have to play c6 d6 this structure, and you are perfectly fine. Black is perfectly fine. And then the game continued with the bishop to g5 to prevent e5. Obviously black can play that, so it's a rather good move, although with this bishop has playing knight f7, the bishop has to move again, so perhaps not that of a good move. Anyway, Tenuki went for another good move, knight d7, that I guess plans to go to f6 or even the bishop to f6 and then play e5, which is a good for black. White stands good, black stands good, the game is equal. Black equalized already. Anyway, white played queen d2 9, and black went for knight c5. A solid move. Tenuki didn't have any plans like I had with knight f6. Anyway, this is a solid move too, although I don't know. And before, for example, doesn't work really, because knight will go here and it will perfectly fine. And the position of white is a bit a mess here, because he can castle easily 3 pieces here, so his king is a bit in danger. Anyway, white didn't play that and played, what did he play? He castled. And I think this is premature. I don't like it at all. This is important. In embassy chess, you should not castle quickly, since you give a target to the opponent. Now, black has a target to attack to the king. Attacking to the side of the board where the castle king landed, for example here or here, is attacking to the side of the board is much easier for the opponent, since king is exposed more than it is in the center, because here king is protected, is being protected by these pieces and pawns. But here is only protected by 2 pieces, and you have to bring pieces to protect it. It's easier to attack. So actually this castle exposes the king to an attack, because black has a specific target now. Moreover, in the center it's more difficult for black to attack, because he will expose his own king, while here he won't. Also the king now is isolated, and this is bad. So the castle was premature. So before you castle, make sure your development is good enough that you can attack. Here white is not that bad in that aspect. He has that bishop, good knights, and that bishop is not good bishop because it's being blocked by these pawns, but he has a good view of the board. So before you castle, make sure your development is good enough that you can attack. And as I said, white is not that bad in that aspect, but still not ready to attack, I think. Black is a tad faster in attacking. White is a step before. Furthermore, we have that pawn on c4, b5 now, and black has an attack. So that castle was bad because also of the pawn on c4. It was really not the wisest choice, this castle. Having the c-pawn there, which is weak and can be attacked after b5, having also the bishop on here on h8, having this view is crucial, because this bishop is very dangerous. And also the advanced knight on c5 is very dangerous also to maneuver, to attack. So by playing b5 now, of course it's not possible, because this bishop will capture this pawn, but later on this b5 move will destroy white. So I think this castle was premature and a not bad move, a questionable move. It wasn't the wisest choice. So Tenuki takes advantage of this move immediately. Tenuki now has a target to attack to the king. So white gave him unnecessarily a target. So Tenuki has a target to attack before he just played developing moves. Now white has to hurry up and attack himself first, because if black starts to attack, it will be difficult to stop him. so white has to attack. So Tenuki played bishop d7, heading for b5, and now Panzerschiff played a bad move, a very questionable and really bad move, because this move does nothing at all, and blocks these two pawns from attacking the king, and that will be the white's plan, to attack the king. So the really only moves here were e4 or f3 and then e4 and f3 for prevent this knight go here. So these were the only sensible moves for white here. Every other move is out of question, because this move now, and black plays here, and this move didn't didn't provide anything for white, only problems actually. And now Panzerschiff played another questionable move, J4. J4 is bad also. Probably Panzerschiff wanted to keep his bishop after h6 and wanted to have a square for his bishop, this j2, but he judged incorrectly, since, for example, a realization of the previous mistake with moving the archbishop here and playing now e1 or archbishop to g1 was better. Even if Tenuki threatened the bishop, this will be a perfectly good square for the bishop, and we should not be afraid of losing the bishop for a knight, because this is a good knight. This knight ought to go here to attack and not capture a bishop, because of a bishop cost is valued a bit more than a knight. Black should not capture this bishop, because we then will remove a good knight from the board, and black should not want to do that. So Tenuki should not be afraid of losing his bishop, but Panzerschiff should not be afraid, not Tenuki. Panzerschiff is white, so Panzerschiff should not be afraid of losing this bishop and should have played here or here his archbishop. He should realize, he should admit that his previous move was a mistake, so he should have played here or g1. I don't really know which is better, but he did play it here. Tenuki replied playing here, so now Panzerschiff has his shelter for his precious bishop. But as we said, the bishop is not at all precious. It could be traded for the knight, but Panzerschiff thought his bishop is too precious to be traded for a knight, but it isn't. I will play now to attack to the king, because that move, that retreat, gave me the chance. How? Well, Tenuki chose queen to a5. I don't like this move, since now there is a very good move, defensive move of white, knight d1, and now the queen has to move again. Since after an exchange of queens we have this move, and white is perfectly fine, and actually is better, because the attack of black starts to die down. There's no attack at all, so Tenuki will have to move his queen again after knight d1, for example here, but now he blocks b5 pawn, so he should have played here, for example, but that costs a tempo, and now white will have time to attack, for example. with this. So that move of Tenuki wasn't good. Was a bad move. Not really bad, but it was wrong. But Panzerschiff didn't play that good defensive move 91, and he played a very bad move, a really bad move. He played d4. Oh no, this is a big mistake. This is a big mistake, and now it's difficult for white to survive. It's almost over, almost over. No, it's not over, but it's almost over. There are three moves for white here. As I've said, the one is this, 91. This is the best move here. But white could play also archbishop to g1 or e1. And now white is fine. White does fine here. Although black has some pressure to white, but white is fine. White's defense is good. And he can attack also with e4 and other moves. But Panzerschiff played d4. A bad move and big mistake, and now Tenuki starts the attack. Archbishop takes c4, dc4, almost forced. Bishop takes c3, and now another mistake by Panzerschiff, giving away the game. Pawn to captures bishop c3, a big mistake that gives the game to black. White had still time to defend correctly by queen takes c3, and after the almost forced archbishop to a2 check, king to c2, this is forced because white will be better if black didn't play it that way. And after this check, white stands good. White obviously has a bad structure, but has a bishop, this bishop, the dark square bishop. He has that bishop for 3 pawns. And in the middle game, the piece is much stronger. So not better, but perhaps it's at least equal. And he has the attack. He can attack now because he doesn't have anything else to do. Because when you have a piece more, you attack. You try to attack. White could play Counselor to d2, and he will be almost fine. But black made that second big mistake in a row, first with d4 and later on with, instead of queen takes bishop on c3, he captured with the pawn, and the game is over. The game is over because Tenuki found the best move, which is this, a very good move, and now white can do nothing against the upcoming attack. Counselor e6 wins the game on the spot. And the game continued. Well, white now is hopeless, so the game continued. Rook c2, captures here. And now the poor white king, has to deal with the 3 major pieces that are too close to him. Too much power. White can do nothing. Well, white tried to defend, but Tenuki found another good move. Tenuki wins it either way, but why not in style? So he played that move and didn't have any other option. e5 to remove the defender from this square. b3, c3. White has no other moves. Check. He can go here, but the queen then decides the game. He can go here, and we have a pretty good mate. How? Queen c3. Now the rook has to be defended, so protects the rook. The queen takes b2, and now if white didn't have that move, he would be in troubles, but he has, so we end the game with a pretty mate. Checkmate, archbishop to c2, very good game, and all was because of this bad move, pawn to d4. Pawn to d4 was a pretty bad move. He should have played, as we said, knight to d1, and white will be perfectly okay, but d4 started, white's position started to collapse after that move, and we had that pretty checkmate here. Tenuki won at the end.